All right. Ready to banish those negative thoughts because today we're doing a deep dive into Ketty Fesahajian's Empowerment Workbook.
Oh, I love that one.
It's not like those other self-help books. This one's different. It's like a toolbox,
Totally.
for identifying those limiting beliefs and actually gives you ways to change them.
Yeah, it gives you stuff you can actually use to rewire your brain.
It's like we all have those negative thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But this actually gives you a way to do something about it.
Exactly. And it starts right away with that voice. We all have that inner critic.
The inner critic.
The one that says you're not good enough or you'll probably fail.
Oh, I know that voice so well.
Right. Like it just feeds off fear.
Mine seems to show up at the worst times. Like right as I'm about to do something big, put myself out there. And then, bam, it hits me with, who do you think you are?
And the thing is, we don't even realize how much we let that voice control us.
It's true.
But Fesahajian has this great advice. Give that critic a name.
Wait, really? Like actually name it?
I know, it sounds a little out there.
Okay, so tell me more.
But it works. When you give it a name, it's like you separate yourself from those thoughts, you know?
So it's not this big scary voice in my head anymore. It's like, oh, there's Debbie Downer again.
Exactly.
Love it. So what's next?
Okay, so now that you've got your inner critic all figured out, it's time to put those beliefs on trial. Fesahajian calls it the evidence file.
Ooh, like, that sounds juicy.
Right. So imagine you're building a court case, but instead of a person, it's those thoughts that are in trouble.
Okay, I am here for this courtroom drama.
So how does it work? I'm glad you asked.
Tell me so.
Let's say your inner critic is all about how you're not leadership material. Which, by the way, the workbook actually uses that example. I thought that was perfect.
Oh, yeah. I've totally been there. Who am I to lead?
Right. So Fesahajian says, channel your inner PR agent. Basically, gather proof from your life that totally disproves what your critic is saying.
Instead of just hoping I'm a good leader, I'm actually looking for proof.
Exactly. Like, remember that project you totally killed at work? Or when you led that volunteer group and everyone loved it, that's your evidence.
Okay, so I'm gathering up all the receipts for my awesomeness.
Yes. And you're using those facts to shut down those vague doubts.
Take that, negative Nancy. The evidence is right here. It's like we always focus on the negative stuff way more than the good stuff.
Yeah, it's a human thing, I think.
But this whole evidence file thing is kind of brilliant. You're basically forcing yourself to see things realistically.
Totally. Facts only, not just your feelings in the moment.
So we've gathered all this evidence to fight back against those beliefs, but then what?
Well, once you've got those negative thoughts on the run, it's time to bring in the big guns, affirmations.
Okay, affirmations, I'll be honest, sometimes they feel a little, I don't know, too simple. Like just saying nice things to myself isn't really going to change anything, is it?
I get it, but here's the deal with affirmations. It's not just wishful thinking, it's actually changing your brain.
Okay, get all sciencey on me here. How does that even work?
So every time you have a thought, your brain makes these connections, neural pathways, and the more you repeat that thought, the stronger those pathways become.
So it's like I'm creating a mental superhighway for those positive thoughts to race down.
Exactly. And the more you use those new pathways, the less you use the old negative ones.
So basically, I can train my brain to see things differently, including myself. What happens to those old negative pathways then?
They get kind of overgrown, less important. You don't use them, you lose them. Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
So the workbook has all these examples of affirmations. Any that really stood out to you?
Oh, yeah, tons. But one that I kept coming back to was, I am capable of amazing things. It's easy to forget that, you know?
That's so true. For me, it was, I am worthy of love and happiness. Like, why is that so hard to remember sometimes?
Right. And the key is to really feel those affirmations, not just read them. Say them out loud, write them down, whatever works for you.
Like giving myself a pep talk all day long. So what else is great about this workbook is that it doesn't stop there, right? It actually tells you what to do with all this newfound confidence and belief.
Exactly. Thinking it is great, but we've got to take action too, right?
So it's not enough to just think, I deserve that promotion.
Yeah.
I have to actually, go for it. How does the workbook help with that?
So there's this whole section called Action Steps for a Limitless Life, and it's awesome. It's all about turning those thoughts into actual, doing something.
Give me an example. What kind of action steps are we talking here? Yeah, so we're clear on action steps, but what do those look like in real life? Give me an example.
Let's stick with that promotion example. So you're feeling worthy. That's great, but you got to go for it.
Right, like actually do something about it.
Exactly. The workbook says, break it down. So first, update that resume, right? Shine it up, highlight all the wins, make it impossible to ignore.
I love that. Not just feeling confident, but showing everyone why you should be confident.
Exactly. Then maybe you find a mentor at work, someone who can, give you advice, help you out, and then practice, actually speaking up more in meetings, owning your expertise.
Yeah, like you're slowly becoming that person, the one in those affirmations, not just thinking it, but being it.
Yes, and that's what this workbook does so well. It's inner work and outer action, and that's how real change happens.
Love it. So no more letting those negative thoughts run the show. What would you say, like the big takeaway is for everyone listening, something they can really use even after this deep dive is over?
You know, going through this workbook, it really hit me how powerful our perspective is. Like, imagine yourself a year from now. That limiting belief, it's gone. What's different? What have you accomplished?
Ooh, I love that. So like, let's say you're struggling with, I'm not good enough.
Right.
Right. Fast forward a year, you're killing it. You're confident. What amazing things have you done?
Exactly. Because now you're connected to that future you want, and this workbook gives you the tools to actually build it, starting today.
So good. So no matter how small, take that action step, right? And hey, you're really feeling ambitious. Didn't Ketty mention a Dream Life Design Lab too?
Oh, yeah, definitely. For those who want to go all in,
Yeah,
with expert support and all that. Because let's be real, this stuff can be hard, so having a community helps.
for sure. So everyone listening, take a second. Picture that future self, free from limitations. What do you see? What do you feel?
Hold on to that feeling, because you have the power to make it real. The tools are there.
We are here for it. All right, and that is a wrap on another deep dive.